everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about the words that are mispronounced. As in, most people make mistakes with these words. So, in this lesson, I will tell you the 16 words that you're probably mispronouncing. So you want to know what they are? Okay, so without any further delay, let's look at them. So, the word number 1 that we have in the list is GIF. So GIF, as you know, is just an image file that supports both animated and static images. Many of us, and even earlier I would say it as GIF, but actually the GIF's inventor Steve originally said the word as GIF, and he says ignore dictionaries and say GIF. Let's look at Steve's video in which he says it's not GIF but it's GIF.
Recipient of this year's Webby for Lifetime Achievement, Steve Wilhite. Instead of speaking his 5 words tonight, Steve is using his own invention to accept his award.
So, the right word to pronounce this word is GIF and not GIF. Now let's look at some GIF image files. Now we'll move on to our next word that we have in the list is deng-ee. I hope you all know what is dengue. It is a viral disease. Many people pronounce it as dengue, dengue. And even the doctors pronounce this word incorrectly. Do we pronounce it correctly? So, it is not dengue. In English language, it is dengue. Now let's look at the examples. Health experts have known about dengue fever for more than 100 years. Let's look at a second example. For the undernourished young children in the camps, dengue often means death. So, the third word that we have in our list is meme. This is one of the most confused words as well. A lot of people pronounce this word quite incorrectly because this word has me in it. So people think that me is me, right? So most of the people pronounce this as mimi. But it's not mimi, it's meme. Okay? Now what is meme? I hope you all know what is a meme. A meme is an image or a video or a piece of text, typically humorous in nature, that is copied and spread rapidly by internet users, often with slight variations. Let's look at the examples. The first image says, I'm on a seafood diet. And then he says, I see food and I eat. So it's humorous in itself, right? Now let's look at the second example. This picture says, when somebody adds another plate to the sink while I'm washing the dishes. So just look at his face. You can see the angry and rude face, which is humorous in itself, right? Now let's look at the fourth word that we have in the list is kash. Here in this word, E is silent. And most of the people think that it has CH, means ch sound in it. So how come it is pronounced as kash, right? Catch might sound logical, but unfortunately in English for a lot of words, we don't follow logic. So it's not catch, it's cash. So now you might be thinking cash in terms of money, right? Those money, they are called cash. But here, this is a word which is related to computers, which is also called cash. Now let's look at the examples. The hard disk is also fast without the benefit of a cache controller. Let's look at the second example. Empty your computer's cache regularly. It would perform better. Now let's look at the number 5th word that we have in our list is debris. Now here you might be thinking debris. This word has a silent letter. Can you find out which one? Okay, so here the letter which is silent is S. So we don't say debris, it's debris, right? Now what is debris? Debris is when something is destroyed or broken up. So the remains of it is called debris. Now let's look at the examples. Debris obstructed the road. Now let's look at the second example. Teams of people are working to clear the debris. Now let's look at the sixth word that we have in our list is chaos. This is also one of the most confused word as well. Now many people get confused with this word as this word also has ch means ch sound in it. And so they think it's chaos or chaos. But let me tell you that you are mistaken. Because it's not chaos or chaos, it's chaos. So what is chaos? Chaos is when things around you is in a complete mess. Okay, so let's look at the examples. Snow and ice have caused chaos on the roads. Now let's look at the second example. His life seems to be in a constant state of chaos. So the seventh word that we have in our list is electrician. Most of the people pronounce it as electrician. But it's not electrician, it's electrician. Now let's look at the examples. He was an electrician by profession. Now let's look at the second example. We had to call out an electrician. Now let's look at the number 8th word that we have in a list is Wednesday. People pronounce this word as Wednesday. But this is not the correct pronunciation. The correct pronunciation is Wednesday. Now let's look at the examples. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Now let's look at the second example. I spoke to her last Wednesday. So the number 9th word that we have in our list is February. This is also one of the most confused word as well. Many people pronounce this word as February. February. But let me tell you, it's not February, it's February. So the correct pronunciation is February and not February. Now let's look at the examples. February is the second month of the year. Now let's look at the second example. Natasha was born on 6th February 1990. Now let's look at our 10th word that we have in our list is women. Now, how do we pronounce this word? A lot of people pronounce this word quite incorrectly. Because this word has men in it. And men is pronounced as men, right? So people pronounce it as women. But that is not the correct pronunciation. The correct pronunciation is women. Now let's look at the examples. Both of the women were French. Now let's look at the second example. The men danced and the women clapped. Now the 11th word that we have in our list is garbage. Now again, many people get confused with this word and they pronounce it as garbage. But actually it's not garbage, it's garbage. There's no R sound in it. R is silent in this word. And so the word is garbage, not garbage. Okay? Now let's look at the examples. Throw it in the garbage. Now let's look at a second example. I personally think this is a complete garbage. Now let's look at a 12th word that we have in our list is data. Now again, many people pronounce it as data. But it's not data, it's data. You know data, right? A computer stores data of your pictures, videos, etc. right? So please don't confuse with the word. It's not data, it's data. Okay? Now let's look at the examples. Let's look at the first example. His job is to collect data. Let's look at the second example. She still needs to analyze the data. Now the 13th word that we have in our list is breakfast. Now again, many people get confused with this word because we have a separate word in English language break, right? But here in this word, break turns into brehk. And we have a separate word in English language as fast. But here it's not fast, it's fast. So the word becomes breakfast. Now let's look at the examples. I always have a boiled egg for breakfast. Now let's look at the second example. I had a piece of toast for breakfast. Now the 14th word that we have in our list is dessert. It's dessert or dessert. This is one of the most confused word as well. Now people think it's dessert or dessert. Dessert is a sweet dish which you have in the end of your meal and it is called dessert. So it's not dessert, it's dessert. Now let's look at the examples. After dinner, we had ice cream for dessert. Now let's look at the second example. What are we having for dessert? Now let's look at a 15th word that we have in our list is forget. Here in this word, the stress is on get and many people pronounce it as forget, but it's not forget, it's forget. Now let's look at the examples. Don't forget your manners. Now let's look at the second example. I didn't forget anything. Now let's look at the last word that we have in our list is comfortable. This is also one of the most confused word as well. Most of the people pronounce this word as comfortable, but actually it's not comfortable, it's comfortable. Now let's look at the examples. The car was bigger and therefore more comfortable. Now let's look at the second example. It was so comfortable resting in his arms. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this lesson and learned a lot. So you can continue studying with me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching.